Is our military being compromised from the top down? That's what I want to talk to you about today. Hegseth is calling all of the top brass, all of the top generals, admirals, 150 or so of them roughly, to Washington. So he's saying, somehow get off of that ship, get out of that base. You are being called back to Washington with maybe 3 days' notice. And this has not gone unnoticed with the media. And I'll tell you also, it has not gone unnoticed with the world, with NATO, with our allies. Everybody seems to be wondering what his situation is. What is his reason for doing this? Well, let's dive into it, right? I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium, and I predict politics, among other things, right? I do a lot of things, but today we're going to be talking about politics because this is a little bit of a big deal. And my spirit guides wanted me to come on and tell you, because forewarned is forearmed. Next week, you're going to see some things that are probably going to freak you out. It may scare you. It may make you feel like all the hope is lost or gone. And I'm here to tell you, no, that is not the case. But I am here to tell you that it's going to look bad. It's going to look scary. It's meant to scare you. It's meant to intimidate you. It's meant to consolidate power, the spirit guides are saying. So those things will all happen. But in the end result, there's still hundreds of millions of us Americans living here and abroad that will not be persuaded, or we will not be corralled or harassed by these, I just want to call them dipshits in the White House. Okay. But it is a thing. We need to talk about it because it's not a small thing. I don't want to gloss over it. I don't want to tell you everything's going to be perfect. Everything's going to be fine. I want to say that it's not as bad as it's going to look. So we are going to take some precautions right now. The guides are saying that the reason they're telling you this is basically to give you a heads up so that you can see it and you can have some clear thinking around it instead of knee-jerk reaction of, oh my God, we're so screwed. That's not helpful. When we go into that fear, we're basically giving them the keys to our lives, to our happiness, and to this country. We really need to learn to stop being so doomsday about everything. It doesn't work. It doesn't help, right? So if you find yourself saying, we're screwed, maybe it's a time to take some deep breaths, to disconnect from the media, and to look around your life and just check in with yourself, right? Because we're not screwed. We're nowhere near screwed. A lot of this is theater, is what the guides are saying. And that's why I'm doing this video, because it's going to be theater. And the guides are also showing me an eagle. And I hate to say it, but it's not the American bald eagle that's, so precious to our country's visual. This is more of a Third Reich eagle, a Third Reich imagery. This is what they're trying to gen up. This is what they're trying to portray. And also the guys just said this is a desperation move. They're doing this because they can feel that they're losing their power. They can feel that they're being challenged. They can feel that they don't have the kind of power that they want to have. Therefore, they're going to create the theater of that power. And I've always gotten that 45 wants to be a war president. That is just in his energy. He just wants it so bad. Like, for instance, the guys are reminding me that he had that military parade, which was, thanks to our troops, they made it they made a mockery of him in real time. The troops said, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to march in a lazy looking way. We're not going to goose step. We're not going to do that. This is not the Third Reich. You are literally crazy. So this is what I feel like is going to happen. I feel like these commanders, whoever they are, generals, admirals, whatever they are, I don't know. They're very, very high ranking leaders of our military. I feel like there are some. Oh, the guides are telling me this is what do you call that? This is a loyalty test. I kept getting litmus tests, which is kind of similar, but this is a loyalty test. They're going to bring all these commanders together and they're going to say, now we're telling you, because I'm your boss, right? I'm Secretary of Defense, and here's the executive, the president of the country. He is your boss. I am your boss. I'm telling you that you're going to do these things. And if you can't do them or you choose not to do them, then please give me your resignation and retire from your leadership position. And I got to say, there could be a few that do it. So again, mostly this video is about a heads up, right? So when you see people retiring or saying, no, I won't do it, you heard it here first. You can expect it. It's not going to blow your mind. It doesn't have 7,000 different secret meetings. It basically means that these people finally said, no, I'm not going to do it. Now, that's great, right? Because they're standing for the oath. But then you say, well, Susan, if they step down and they're the good ones, are we only left with the bad ones? And the answer is no, that is not true. Some will stay in that are good. And here's where I want you to hear this message. Let's say there's 100 leaders, military brass. And let's say that what the guides are telling me is 20 or 30 of the 100 could really get behind a Third Reich situation. Well, that leaves, 70 or 80 that would not. 3/4 are good people, but they may on the surface look like they're signing on to this loyalty test. So I want you to understand that. If you see 100 leaders, don't assume all 100 leaders just because they stood behind Hegseth or they stood behind 45 and they did whatever they did, that doesn't mean that they have 100% given their loyalty to this president, because we all know their loyalty is to the Constitution. So when you see those people, I want you to understand it's not over. It is not over. As long as you and I are breathing, it is not over. Every day we got to go to work. Every day we got to go take care of things, pay bills, pick up groceries every day. It ain't over, folks. Okay? It's not. This is a battle, a war. And sometimes they win a battle and sometimes we win a battle. We just won a battle with 218 in Congress. We are winning something like 43 out of 44 every special election. This is not a complete capitulation of our country. This is not what's happening. So, but a lot of it is theater. So that's why I'm telling you, when you see this, understand 3/4 of these leaders are not behind this, do not, would not, and will not capitulate to orders that don't match the oath or the Constitution. So now that you understand that, we do have to understand that there is a lot of machinations happening behind the scenes with these, say 60, 80, whatever they are, leaders that are not going to fall in line in goose step. They're not going to goose step. They're going to pretend to be goose stepping while on the inside they're sabotaging everything. So that's another thing, right? We look with our human eyes and we try to make everything make sense. And that's just typical. That's what humans do. But these things are not straight lines. It's not A plus B equals C. Just because these leaders have stood behind 45 does not mean they're telling their troops or telling their soldiers the same thing. So we have to understand that just because it looks one way doesn't mean it is that way, especially right now. So understand that these brass, this military brass, they get it. They understand more than just about anybody, because to be military brass, you've learned a lot of military history. You've learned a lot of political history. You've learned about how authoritarian regimes have been toppled. You know more than just about anybody. about this type of situation. They see it with their eyes wide open. They see what is happening. And I get that they're going to sabotage it from the inside. You know, the guide said this months and months ago. So they said, think of a situation where this military transport boat pulls up to the shore of a foreign country and puts, gets to the shore and there's no ramp. And the guy's like, wait a minute, you were supposed to bring the ramp. Who here was supposed to bring the ramp, right? Or they get the ramp out and they don't have enough fuel to meet their objective. This is how you sabotage it without really being openly a saboteur. It's just being ineffective. It's just, oh, I guess I didn't order enough fuel. That's how you sabotage these things from the ground up. That could be a clerk, that could be an airman, that could be anybody that just changed that zero to a different number. And now all of a sudden it doesn't work. And it's a mistake. Oh, my mistake, right? Like, whatever, punish me. But in reality, that person has saved lives. So this is how it can happen. It just having a bunch of brass and making people retire and harassing them and getting them to sign these new loyalty statements to the president instead of to the Constitution, that's malarkey. Okay, right, fine. That's all theater. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. It's theater. Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the world, right? Because this is something the guys talked about. This is very alarming to our allies, and even to our enemies, honestly, because they don't know where this is going. And what I see happening, and the guides have said this before too. So this is all things the guides have warned you about before. They talked about how specifically when we were having really tightened, you recall not that long ago, we were having tightened energy around Canada and around the soldiers, the Canadian soldiers and the United States soldiers, right? Remember those days? Remember the guides told you that these people a lot of times have their personal cell phones, right? They do a lot of practices together, a lot of maneuvers together. They make friends with different countries, with different soldiers from different countries because they maneuver together. They do these things together once a year, once every couple of years. They become friends. And I saw, and the guides told you, these soldiers calling each other on the phone going, yeah, I'm not, whatever he tells me to do, don't worry, I'm not doing it. Okay, cool. Good to hear that. How's your husband? How's your wife? How's your kids? Did you ever get your knee, fixed? That's what I'm talking about. These soldiers, these commanders, these leaders are going to be calling other leaders and vice versa and assuring them, yes, I'm a brigadier general. Yes, I'm an admiral. Yes, I'm whatever, but not on my watch. You might see me on TV looking like I'm doing something. That's just the dog and pony show that we do for every president that we don't agree with. Yes, this is worse than normal. This is definitely a whole nother level, but it's a dog and pony show, in my opinion. I will not commit my troops to something that I think does not fully embrace the Constitution. So I see these communications happening between different commanders, between even different soldiers or sergeants, or really and truly, it's a way to bring the temperature down. Okay. Now, even given that, you have situations where we've had fighter jets that have fired on boats in the ocean that no one could tell for sure what they were or who they were. They weren't even in our water. That is illegal. And those fighter jet pilots could be held and probably will be held accountable. Just because you get an order doesn't mean it's lawful. At some point you have to stand down. You have to. Now, I know it's more complicated than that. And for you guys that just keep telling military people not to obey orders, it's a lot more complicated than that. Those National Guardsmen and women that showed up in DC, they were following orders. Did they shoot people? No. They picked up trash. They put down mulch. If they had not followed that order to go to DC, they could have had a whole world of hurt on them for the eventuality of nothing. These people have lives, they have kids, families. This is a paycheck. Do they need to go to prison, for saying, no, I'm not going to go to DC? Do you understand how complicated this is? It's just not that simple. So please be careful making it simple. Yes, National Guards going to DC. Yes, they're going to Chicago. Yes. What matters is their own personal decisions. You are deployed to a city. Are you going to beat somebody up? Are you going to shoot somebody? Now, there we cross the line. That's when they have to say, I'm putting my rifle down, and here's why. Because these are American citizens, and I do not fire on American citizens. Okay, do you see what I'm saying here? I want us to support our military. I want us to support the guardsmen. They have a job to do. They're doing their job. They're caught in a bad situation, just like these military brass are caught in a bad situation. Until they do something that crosses the line, following orders, even if it's go deploy to New Orleans, even if it's go deploy to California, that is not something these people can stand down to. For instance, these brass being called from the four corners of the world to hustle their butts into Washington, D.C. They're not going to follow that order? You know what I mean? That's not an order that you don't follow. That's not where you draw the line. You go, you figure out what these, insert expletive, people are talking about. You understand what their objective is. You do the dog and pony show, you salute, you go back to your people, your soldiers, and you say, this is how we're going to do it. This is the thing that always surprises me, because these people that get so confident, overconfident, like Hegseth and 45, they just feel like I'm your boss and you're going to do everything that I tell you to do. Well, we all know, we've all been employees. If you have a bad boss, you might just set them up to fail, right? You might just call in sick on the one day that they need you. You might just not do the thing that they need you to do, and you forgot. This is what's going to happen. It's not like they can just pound, these soldiers or this military brass or even us into the ground, because we're not North Korea. We're too big. We're too loosely connected throughout our states to be controlled. You take a smaller country, or you take a country like Russia that the population it's basically uninhabited most of the whole country. The population is centered, and there's been a long history of authoritarianism, much longer than democracy. We have a longer history of democracy than anything else. It's just not, they just cannot do it. They cannot do it. They couldn't even keep Jimmy Kimmel off the air. Okay, they can't keep a comedian off the air, yet they think they're going to call in all of these generals and admirals and make them do something. They're crazy. These people are literally nutsos, right? But it's going to look bad. And that's why I'm doing this video. It's going to look bad. The optics are going to be bad. The optics are going to scare people. And, maybe some people deserve to be scared, right? Like, I hope all the MAGAs wake up and think the Hegseth is coming for their GUNSs, right? Because those people deserve to be scared. You don't deserve to be scared. You deserve to understand the energy behind what's happening and to understand that I don't see this being the end of the world or World War III or the end of the United States. I don't see any of those things. I see these commanders going, great, we got to go to this dog and pony show and stand behind this guy that thinks he's Mussolini, whatever. He can get up there and say whatever he wants in the microphone. We don't care. We've got a copy of the Constitution in our breast pocket, and that's who we are loyal to. So I don't see it being the end of the world, but it does look bad. And that's why I wanted to jump on here and explain to you what I'm getting about this. Please leave me your thoughts down below. What are you getting, right? What do you think is going to happen? How do you feel that this is going to affect the United States? How do you feel it's going to affect our military? How do you feel like it's going to affect citizens and going about their work, or even the economy, right? Like this thing, something like this that's happening in the end of September, right? When people are thinking about the holidays, thinking about buying things, it's going to further cripple our economy from the perspective of we don't want to buy things. You know, today I had to go get dog food, and right next to the dog food place was a Kohl's, and I actually had like a 30% off coupon, anything at Kohl's. And I thought, well, I need some things for this. You know, I just moved, and there's some things I just need, right? Like housewares, whatever. I mean, okay, I'll just duck into Kohl's. I couldn't buy anything. Like look, y'all, I'm a shopper. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. I can do some shopping now. I just couldn't. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I gave my coupon to a woman who was doing clothes shopping for her kids. I'm like, here, take 30% off because I can't. She's just like, you can't use it. I'm like, I can't use it. Like, I don't understand, y'all. This is where we're going. We're not going to buy anything that's not an absolute necessity. We're not going to buy anything that's, just fun and frivolous. We're going to buy things to improve ourselves, to make us more hireable, to make us happier, to make our vibration go up. We're going to buy things to make sure that we're safe, like maybe new tires for your car or extra, something for your pantry, some extra food here or there. Yeah, we're going to buy those things. And, we're going to have parties. This is another weird thing the guys were just talking about. I think social clubs are going to come back. Private social clubs. We don't even trust the drinks at the, we get a drink and there might be something in it. As a woman, you really can't even trust this, right? And I just feel like we're going to pull the money back from restaurants. We're going to pull the money back from bars and events that are like that. And we're going to go to people we trust. We're going to go to events, people we trust. We're going to go to people's houses. We're going to start hanging out with our friends again. We're going to have that barbecue. We're going to have that potluck. We're going to be in somebody's basement just hanging out. This is where we're going, you guys. We're pulling our money back from all of them, and we're pulling it together for our own little community. We can have a heck of a party with 5 or 10 of us, kind of each putting in $20, right? This is where we're going. And this is how we're going to get the power back from these people that think they could control us. The one thing that we have that they need is money. We have our money. And we are starting to really use that power. And they can't make you spend your money. They can't. I've talked about this for a year now, and I didn't understand why this was such a big thing. But here I am at Kohl's going, yeah, here, you use it. You've got kids going to school. You probably could use 30% off, right? Like I need a laundry hamper. I don't care. Throw it on the floor. I don't care. I swear to God, it's weird. It's unexplainable. But it's just because I think in my soul, I'm disgusted with corporations. I'm disgusted with the idea of this machinery that keeps us all trapped. I'm disgusted with it. I want out. I want to step out of it. I want to disengage from it. That is how we're going to get our power back. And these generals are not going to immediately get a bunch of troops who, I might remind you, who joins the military. It's not rich kids. It's not rich kids, y'all. It's people just like the rest of us. And they don't want to go after and harm us. It's a non-starter. It's just a non-starter. Yes, it's going to look crazy. Yes, it's going to look horrible. The media is going to cover it 9 ways to Sunday. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. We're going to get through this together. This is the darkest part of it, by the way. This end of September into the beginning of October is dark. It's pitch black out. There's no moon out. There's no nothing. You're hearing things and you can't see anything. It's scary. I get it. Just check out for the next week or two. Add extra funny movies, add extra music, add extra nature, add extra anything to your life. And bonus points, if you think to yourself, I'm going to have a potluck. I'm going to get a little party going on, right? I mean, even, you live in an apartment, go down to the rec room, go to the park, and get a picnic table. The weather's probably great right now. Maybe put flyers around your neighborhood and say, hey, at this address, at the community park or in my front yard, right? Bring some chairs, just all the neighbors. Let's get together. You could be the impetus for something really magical and something new and something helpful, right? We all wait for somebody else to do something. I wish somebody would have a party. I wish somebody would have a potluck. I wish somebody would do something. Why not let it be us? Let's be those people. In spite of Hegseth, in spite of this administration, in spite of their gleeful, glorification of the Third Reich, in spite of that, we're going to show everybody in our neighborhood that everybody's welcome and that we love everybody and that we are a community in spite of them. Okay? Take really, really good care of yourself. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your support. If you're new here, I'm Susan Lynn. I predict politics, but I also do a lot of spiritual stuff. So I have classes. I have an in-person event coming up in November, and I also have an online community. If you feel like I don't have a community and I don't know anybody, maybe you want to just join my community for $12 a month because your people are there. I even have a whole section for politics. If you want to be able to say whatever it is you want to say and not worry about your employer finding out or not worry about some troll or even someone figuring out who you are or where you live, this is a safe place because it's not Facebook, it's not Meta, it's not YouTube. All of those are free. That's why there's a lot of communities on those sites. But you're paying a price for that freedom. You're giving away your information. You're giving away your privacy. Come over to my side, pay $12 a month, but it's all ad free. You don't have any ads. Nobody is stalking you. Nobody's harassing you. And your employer's never going to find out because it's a private community hosted on Mighty Networks, which is woman owned, right? You can join, you can cancel anytime you want. I'm there 6 to 10 hours a month doing readings, having classes. So it's a whole community. There's thousands of people there. There's over 700 people every day just chatting and checking in with each other. It's really a resource for you if that is something that you find that might be helpful for you. My website is susanlynnmedium.com, susanlynnmedium.com. Have a class coming up this Saturday. Today's Thursday. That would be the 27th, I think. And I'm teaching it with Afefe Tahimba, Touched by Tarot, here on YouTube. And we are teaching you how to go through the rebirth, right? We can't stay where we are. We can't. This place is crumbling. It's literally burning down around us. What do? How do we become the new version of ourselves? How do we let go of all this that's holding us back? All of this that's not working? In spite. Let's do it in spite of the controlling nature of this administration. In spite of this administration, I'm going to be successful. I will tell you that our whole community, our whole political community was born because of 45. His first reign of terror is when this community sprang up in spite of him. We have been here on YouTube all those years predicting politics, telling you what we see, what we feel is going to happen in spite of them. We have endured. I'm asking you, in spite of this ridiculousness, this horrible, horrible things that are happening, in spite of that, I want you to endure. I want you to grow. I want you to be happy and joyful again. That's what my wish is for you, right? Do it any way you can. Whatever works for you is the best way. Take really, really good care of yourself. I'll see you again really soon.